Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on CrossFit Garage. I am still looking for a better name for the podcast, but this is where we are. We do CrossFit in a garage, CrossFit Garage. So here we are trying to help you build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances, and we'd like to get to know our members. So I am sitting down with Gabby Arcuri, which she's laughing at me now because it took me about 15 minutes to spell her name correctly. And I've only known you for 9 years?
9, going on 9 in January.
And she had to politely say, you spell my name wrong every time. It's only like 5 letters. And so
It's okay.
she even said, she's like, it's G-A-B-B-Y. I said, G-A-B-B-Y? She's like, there's 2 B's, Andy. Seriously, there's 2 B's, there's no I, it's just a Y. So in my phone, I have you down like different ways as well. So I think Coach Gabby is probably the easiest one for me to pull out. All right, so we're talking health and fitness. You've been here in the gym. I think you and I are bumping up our neck and neck-ish for the next 2,000 wads. So we'll be coming up on 2,000 wads probably in the next year or two.
Yeah.
That's huge. So
Yeah.
how did you, okay, before you go into the CrossFit stuff, let's talk about you. Where did you grow up?
Well, I was born in Florida,
Okay.
Jacksonville, and I grew up basically here in Woodstock.
Sequoia or?
Woodstock High School.
Oh, okay.
So I went to Chapman, then Carmel, and then Woodstock Middle and Woodstock High School.
Okay.
And then, yeah, basically my whole life is around Woodstock.
So you saw 92 grow up crazy.
Yes. Yeah, and I don't even recognize it now because I live in Cartersville now. So I don't know, it's just coming down here sometimes it's I don't remember any of this.
Yeah. No, seriously.
It blew
So we
up.
only showed up here because we were, Verity and I were looking for a house, and we were in Kennesaw. Well, we lived in Marietta in an apartment, and then we thought, let's just go north and look for a house. And so there was all these neighborhoods in the Kennesaw, kind of that mall area. And then someone said, well, if you drive up north to a place called Woodstock, you can get, for the same price, twice the house.
Yeah.
We're like, no, that is not true. And
Yeah.
so we did, and it was true. Maybe not exactly like that, but it was a Pulte neighborhood. And so they just, stamp out their houses.
Yeah, I remember us moving into the house over on Providence Place. They were still building houses and stuff, and I don't know, it's some people still live there to this day, and it's just crazy how much it's just blown up.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a place to move to or invest in, Woodstock.
It's definitely the place to go. And it's they have a really good school system and everything. So that's a big thing. It's just crazy how much more expensive it is now.
Right.
And it's
Well, just imagine if we lived further south, in Atlanta, it'd be even more.
It'd be worse, probably.
Yeah. So Evan has a truck, and he's like, Dad, the gas prices. I'm like, dude, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's actually relatively cheap for us.
Yeah.
You go, you can go somewhere else and be way more. But well, that's pretty cool. So did you go after high school? What did you do?
After high school, I actually went to a military college called Marion. It's in Alabama. I got a softball scholarship.
Nice.
So I played there for 2 years and got my associates in science.
Very cool. In softball, what did you play? What was your position?
Well, I pitched.
Nice.
I played first. I played third. Those were my main positions.
Okay. So you have the positions that have all the action, because pitching, you're always doing something. First is,
It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, my freshman year was a big year for me. It was actually their first year having a softball program.
Oh.
So I made history playing with them and everything. So that was a lot of fun.
That is cool.
I made second team all conference my freshman year, and then MVP my freshman year as well. So it was a big year for me. And going into my sophomore year, I didn't get to start as much. I don't really understand why, but
coaches. So
it was softball. In college, is a lot of politics, even in high school. So I wasn't gonna kiss ass.
Right. No,
at
for
all.
sure. So I did a podcast with the kids about, is playing club soccer worth it? And there's value in it for sure. And even playing in collegiate sports, there's value in it. Eventually it has to end, and how is it going to end, and what are you willing to do to progress it or end it, right?
Yeah.
And so I coached Evie's club soccer team for a little bit, and I was a parent, then assistant coach, and then I moved into coaching, or full-time coaching or whatever. And there was stuff going on. I didn't care. I didn't need the money. I just wanted to help out. And I'm like, this is just insane. The things that go on behind the scenes that you are like, it's just soccer.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
Yeah,
so I can only imagine in college it gets doubly
Yeah,
intense.
high school can be just as bad too.
Well, this is also Georgia, so baseball and softball are going to be like
Yep.
maybe football, baseball,
Football's-
then basketball.
yeah.
I know. But who was it? Tom and I were talking, and his kid is playing rec baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in baseball, it's the only one where rec is equivalent to club in some of the other sports because it's so intense, even
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, it's just crazy how like parents are so involved when really they shouldn't be involved, and like the more parents are involved, the more drama it's going to cause, and like it's just a whole cycle of things, and like it makes it no fun for the kid. So it was definitely rough my sophomore year of college because I never was like truly like handed a lot of things while playing. I really had to work my ass off, whereas a lot of these people that did play, like their parents were like talking in the coach's ears, and like it was just
No, that's exactly what it happens all the time, and even still. So I've got Evie is still active in sports. Levi is just wants to be wants to lift and get big. So he's like, how much do I need to eat? And he's like, I just ate 5,000 calories. I'm like, okay, that might be a bit much. You might need to like, so you might be overdoing it, but I'm letting him work his way in there. Anyway, so watching Evie and the stuff go through with both club soccer and high school soccer and then cross country, and so the coach sent out something like, hey, is she going to be at this meet? And I said, she's the fourth kid, and I finally understand that I should not be making all these choices. She needs to decide, is she playing in her soccer game or going to her cross country meet? And there's repercussions either way.
Yeah.
And it's on her to figure that one out. So she'll make a choice.
yeah.
But I mean, being an adult, you have some sort of perspective.
Yeah.
But even so, some parents are going to then like drive at the coaches on either side saying, well, I chose this, yes, but let my kid. I'm like, no, you chose it.
Yeah.
Live with the consequences. So I'm with you on that one. So you finished there, then you moved back to Woodstock?
Yeah. And then I just started working full time. I worked at.
And that'll get you.
So
life happens.
like I tried to go back to school, but I just had no motivation, to be completely honest, to go back to school. So I just started working full time.
Yeah.
And then I got into slow pitch softball.
Ooh.
So that was a whole thing where I didn't even know it existed. I was like, this is a real thing. So I started playing slow pitch and then working full time and everything.
So you're probably over trained for slow pitch.
I guess. I was just like, I don't even know, like, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I don't know how to swing a bat. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, the timing of that would be like incredibly.
Oh, it was still to this day, like, I still struggle having the timing.
Slow it down.
I'm just like, what?
So I'm assuming in slow pitch, what you mean is like, I played softball for church league. It's that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
So basically, it's not you guys competitively.
No. It's just a fun thing.
Yeah.
It's a hobby, pretty much.
So in college, I didn't realize there's for the intramural side of it, there's A League, B League, and C League.
Oh,
A League's like, hey, we're like serious about this. B League is somewhere in the middle, and C League you play with a beer in your hand.
Oh,
and like
the beer league.
Yeah, I was like, this is awesome. So you'd have a beer in your left hand and a bat in your right, and you're trying to hit one-handed. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work, but this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that's a little different though.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely like competitive slow pitch around. They have throw tournaments and all these things, and like there's even like as high as like major and conference where these players like play at the highest level and they get paid a little bit to play. Like that's how like
it can be.
It can be, and I'm just like, I didn't know any of it until like I started playing like 10, like almost 13 years ago. And I was just like, I remember I was going to my first tournament just to watch, and I walk up and like these grown ass men were just wearing these uniforms, and I was just like, what is this? Like I had no clue what I was walking into.
So is it co-ed? So the teams...
It's co-ed, men, women, like all these players that used to play now, and like it's a lot of fun. I met so many people, like so many connections and everything, and like it's a really good, fun community as long as you're with like the right crowd.
Right.
So
now this is interesting because not many people will do this in their busy life, is take the fitness of CrossFit and then apply it to a sport, which the CrossFit pyramid, the bottom is nutrition, and then you pyramid it up. The top is play some new sports. So now you're getting to like use this And do you see a difference on like the players that you play with? Like, I mean, no, don't throw anyone on a bus, or maybe other teams, right? Like, it wouldn't be so hard if you guys did a little bit of extra outside.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of people that like this is their exercise, like this is what they do.
And that can be good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just a different way to play.
Yeah, and so combining CrossFit and that, it's just I keep my life as active as I can.
Yeah.
Just because I mean I'm not getting any younger, and
Right. We don't want to fall apart. Yeah. So I always say feebleness is chasing us down. If we don't do something, it's going to win.
Yeah.
Right? It's not if we're going to die, it's when we're going to die. And what do you want to die of? I want to die of cool things, not dialysis or whatever. I want to jump out of a plane and then the parachute didn't open and I was 106.
Right.
Whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Well, that'd be kind of scary too. But right. I don't want it to be things.
I was 106 jumping out of plane.
Right. I don't know. I was making that up. But there are things we can do, the normal things that people die from. Most of them are preventable. Heart disease. Anyway, you can go through the list. Most of them involve be active and don't eat stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And get some sleep.
Yeah,
So
sleep is definitely like a big thing. I love my sleep for sure.
Well, sometimes you coach to 5 a.m. I'm like, ooh. She's like, I'm in. I'll do that. I'm like, So you okay getting up that early to coach 5 a.m.?
Yeah, I just have to like set my alarm at like a couple of times. I'm like, all right.
A couple times.
I'm like, all right, I gotta go. Sometimes I'll hit my snooze like today, this morning, coming here, I was like, it's only 8:30, I hit my snooze like 3 or 4 times. I'm just like, I'm gonna be late.
That's pretty funny. So they're driving. So you work locally.
I work in Marietta.
Oh, Marietta. So it's kind of on the way-ish then.
Yeah, it's like a big circle.
Yeah. So, and you tell us about work.
I work at Animal Dermatology Clinic. I've been there for about 5 years now. Before this, I worked at an HOA called Team Management for like 8 months. That was not for me. An office job was not for me. But then before that, I worked at Shiloh for 5 years, which is a veterinary hospital, which is basically general practice, whereas where I work now, it's more specialty related.
So if I have a dog that has a thing, what is the thing that they need to have to go to your specialty?
Basically any kind of like skin allergies, skin infections, ear infections.
Ear infections happen all the time with the dogs.
So we work with a lot of ear infections, skin disease, like all the things.
Right.
We just
if
don't.
You see a lump, is that?
That's one. Yeah.
That's you guys too.
Mm-hmm, yeah, we don't do vaccines. We don't board. We don't hospitalize anything like that. It's just strictly
Very
skin and
niche.
ears.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so guys, if you're in the Marietta Woodstock area and you're thinking, I've got my dog's losing hair, or cat, whatever, any pet, and I don't know who would have cats though. No, I'm just kidding. So if you're in that area, tell me the name again. I'll put it in the show notes. But.
Animal Dermatology Clinic. We're located in Marietta. It's on Terrell Mill Road. Oh, yeah. So it's like right down the street.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is. We actually, when Verdi and I left Georgia Tech, we were on, it's just off Terrell Mill. Now I'm going to blank on the name. It's the same street, Delk. That's it. It's on Delk Road right there. We have an apartment complex.
Yeah,
Delk to Terrell Mill.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's very cool. It's funny. It's funny what people will do for their pets. And growing up in the 80s, like if your dog had a thing, well, it's like, well, what happened? Well, the dog's gone now. I don't know. So it's a different change, a mindset. Now I'm the adult with the dogs. I'm like, yeah, I do want to help them out more. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy how far animal medicine has come along.
That's true too.
Then.
Well, that's right. They can do something before, like, yep, your dog's just. I mean, I don't know. It's just, broke its leg. I guess that's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely still some old school doctors out there, but it's just crazy how far like the medicine has come along with like preventions and everything. So
no, we've got chickens. Yeah, and every once in a while, a chicken will like go lame, and the kids are like, "You taking it to the vet?" I'm like, "Look, it's a chicken. I don't want it to suffer, but it's not gonna." That's
how my mom is with her chickens.
She takes him to the vet or no?
No.
She does the same thing I do. She's like, too bad. So I still have 3 ducks. Okay. And one of them came from the eggs that you gave me from your parents.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I had 15 at one time, and then the coyotes came in and had a field day. So I hope they flew away. I don't really know what happened. I don't clip their wings, so maybe they flew, maybe they didn't.
Yeah. One of my mom's ducks actually had 11 ducklings. So she's taking care of them.
Yeah. So So our chickens have been hatching some, but they don't do very well. Like I let the hen I don't know, whatever, I guess I did let it. I let the hen take care of like 16 chicks.
Oh, wow.
And then every day it would be like 15, 14, 13. I'm like, what is going on? So she ended up with about 5, and they were pretty smart, and I think some of them made it to like above chickhood or something, but I'm like, wow. So what I'd normally do is take them and put them in this coop I built that's super secure, and I'd let them stay in there for 30 days. So they'd be a month old. And then take them out and put them in a coop with everybody else.
Yeah.
And they usually hide away in the coop for like a week, and they're like, oh, we can go out and it's okay.
Yeah.
And then they usually can make it. But yeah, they did not do a good job raising their own chicks.
No.
Or at least, I don't know, maybe they did. They're like, hey, you're a decoy. Let's go out there and let the hawks get you, which is what they're for.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to incubate as many as I can. Because I want about like 10 laying hens. And you know how to get 10 laying hens?
How?
I don't know. Because it's still, I mean, every time you hatch an egg, it's 50-50 if it's a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
Roosters don't lay eggs, so I don't need them, right? And, you know, so yeah. And the hawks and the coyotes don't care what they grab.
No, they don't.
They grab the slow ones, and then they just run away.
My mom said, like, one of the hawks grabbed one of her favorite chickens or ducks. I think her name was Presley or Priscilla.
Yeah.
She was so sad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we don't name ours because unless it's like Aunt Soon Be Dead and Uncle Gonna Bite It, because, yeah, they don't make it very long. So the eggs that we get from the farm well, if I were to calculate it, it's probably $20 an egg, so I probably shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah,
but
she has like her little duck eggs, and then she has her little chicken eggs.
Right.
She writes her dates on them and everything. So,
yeah. And she hatches her own, or she order them in?
I think she hatches.
Probably so.
Yeah.
She's doing that many of them.
Yeah, I don't really...
Is she here or is she up?
Kentucky.
Oh, dang. So when I got those eggs, it was from like...
Kentucky. Yeah,
dang.
My brother and my sister-in-law and their family, they found property in Kentucky of like 21 acres. So they have their own side of like chickens and ducks and like their goats and sheep and stuff. And so my parents moved on to part of their land, and that's where they kind of like had their own, now they have their own chickens and ducks and everything. My mom really wants a cow, so my mom keeps thinking that my dad's going to surprise her with a cow.
I'm going to come back to that. I'm writing it down because this fascinates me. I have a desire to try to get everyone in the gym to grow something of their own, as small as a tomato plant. That's fine, right? Or get a chicken. Or can we? I'm fascinated with, can a cow live? Like, what do you have to do for? Anyway, we'll get to it. Okay. So you're back in this area. You go to high school here. Actually, did you hear about us in high school? Would that have been?
No.
How did you find about us?
I did the Globo gym for however long. I went to American Body Works, like right up the street, and it was, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I just felt like I didn't know what to do.
Right.
Like, I worked out pretty much my whole life between softball and the softball workout summer programs and everything. And I thought, oh, this is going to be easy, finding what I'm going to do in the gym. No, I had no clue what I was doing. I was just like, watching everybody else. I'm like, okay, I can do that. Oh, it's treadmill? I can do that. I hate running, but I can do that. Yeah. And so I went up to Ohio to visit my grandma and my cousin and her husband. And my cousin's husband, he is actually a coach of a CrossFit gym up there called CrossFit Heights.
Okay.
So they keep talking about it, and like I've heard about it, and I was just like, I really feel like I need to be in shape for this.
Yeah.
So I go to their...
Okay, that's funny. So I'm going to come back to that one too. Okay.
So I go to their CrossFit gym, and I'm just like, I walk in, I'm like, this is so small. Like, I didn't realize like the gym was like small, but there's so much stuff like you can do, and it's just like almost overwhelming at first, but they just let me do some lifting and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. I was really sore the next day. I was just like, what did I just do?
Right.
So then I come back home, and I keep thinking about it for, I don't know, maybe another year, six months to a year.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just...
And was it like, I'm thinking about it, like, I'd like to do it, but I'm nervous for it? Or, okay.
Yeah. I felt like I needed to be in shape to join CrossFit. And so one of my friends that came here was telling me about it, and I was just like, okay. Because y'all had a Town Lake location at the time. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. It's right there. And I was like, awesome. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So I joined. I actually asked Allison and a couple girls from my work when I worked at Shiloh. So Allison was one of them. Rachel, and then Dr. Lawrence. Those two, Rachel and Dr. Lawrence, didn't last very long, but Allison still continued to come with me.
Yeah.
So they all signed up with me, and it was in January, because I was like, I'm just going to wait till February to join, but no, it was January of 2015.
Wow.
And yeah, I joined and I was hooked ever since. I was just like, this is great. I don't have to like think about what I have to do. It's just written on the board. This is what we're going to do.
No, that's fascinating right there. So you bring up a point. I don't really need to know what's happening. I can walk in and the coaches take me through it.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 15 years. I actually own the place, and I still do the same thing. I'm like, I walk in and, today was it, actually, was it Danny or Jamie? Jamie was coaching us, yeah, because we came at 8:30. And she was telling me like, hey, when you squat, your butt's winking in the back. I'm like, okay, well, let me fix this. She's like, squeeze your core. So I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I just do what they say. I even got the wrong shoes because they didn't even look at the workout.
Yeah, I left my running shoes on and I was just like, it's fine. I was like, we have back squat, it's fine.
But that's the nice part about it is, if you go into a Globo gym, a large gym with all the machines, and you're like, I don't know what to do.
You don't even know where to start.
Right, and you walk into a CrossFit gym, if it's between classes and clean, the floor is empty. And you're like, well, what do they do here? There's not a single machine. And a lot of stuff can happen here, right?
Yes.
So let's back up to this. So you thought to yourself, I need to be in shape to do CrossFit.
Yes.
So yes or no, do you need to be in shape to do CrossFit?
No.
No. And so CrossFit is a great shortcut to getting in shape quicker than normal. And many people say that. They're like, shouldn't I be in shape to come in? Like, well, no, it's like learning to read. You should just start to learn to read, right?
Yeah.
Let's do some phonics, let's go.
Yeah.
So what got you over that? Was it, you said you thought about it for 6 months to a year, finally in January you signed up. It was the other girls talking about it, or?
I don't know. I think I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna do it.
Right.
I was like, no, I'm gonna cancel. Just go with it, just run with it, and haven't looked back since.
Yeah.
I give a lot of credit to CrossFit for like my confidence and like how just my overall health and physical well-being and like mentality is just, I give a lot of credit to it, because just for like that full hour, like, yeah, you may be dying, but the afterwards, you feel so much better about yourself. I feel so much better about myself than I would at a Globo gym, because I feel like there, I'm just like, I don't really know what exactly I did, but I did something. But here, I feel like more accomplished.
Right. Well, and so we do some things. Yes. And we do things that we track and we measure. And so some things are exactly repeatable, and we can see, like the other day, I actually had a note in here. So we did a workout called Grace.
Yep.
And so what is Grace?
Grace is 30 clean and jerks, and that one gets
At what weight?
95 and 135.
So the girls are doing a 35-pound power clean. I'm sorry, a 95-pound power clean, and then a 95-pound jerk. So the bar goes from the floor to your shoulders, and then your shoulders to overhead, and you stand up all the way. And a really good time is like sub 5.
Yeah.
And so you have a really good time already. So you went into that workout with like a 245 or something, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And you're like, okay, this is awesome. You're like, Andy, I don't know how I'm going to beat this.
This Grace is like one of the workouts like where I'm just always so like nervous about it. I don't know why, but it's just like, because I think it's just so quick, and I know I'm really good at it. It's just like
you do move well with it.
It's like the combination of the two. I'm just like, oh my god.
Right. And so the funny thing is, when you do it your way, which spoiler, you PR'd by like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, I guess. And it was funny watching you do it. I saw you looked at the clock, you put the bar above your head, and you smiled. I'm like, I wonder what that was for. And you're like, that's when I knew.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a PR. I'm like, that's awesome. You actually were calculating in your head. You're like, I know it's going to take. I've got this.
Yeah.
And it was like you had a good bit of time left. You're like, I feel good. This is going to work.
Yeah.
So that was awesome to see you know your body so well and what the movement's doing and your energy outputs that you knew. And it's a fast workout. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds or something.
Yeah.
And you knew early into it, you're like, oh, I've got this. This is going to be. And so, if done right, like that, like all out, did you want to do any other working out?
No. I was done. I was like, nope, I'm good.
So that's the funny thing about the CrossFit sometimes is we're going to go to both extremes. So some days we should program a 10K run. I know if I do, nobody's gonna show up, so we don't necessarily do a 10K run. We may do some runs with some stones or something to like hide it, but we should have the extreme on that side. And then there should be an extreme lifting side, like, hey, we're gonna do a 1 rep max on the deadlift, something like that, whatever. And then other days are, I am lifting a heavier weight quickly. And when you're done with that, you're like, I am done. I just want to stretch and drink some water and lay in the fan. And it's like, but it was only 2.5 minutes. How can that possibly be?
Yeah, it's crazy. Some people just, I don't know, whenever I talk about CrossFit to people, they're like, oh no, it's too hard. I won't be able to survive. I'm like, look, you just got to be patient with it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big thing with CrossFit, and people don't understand, like, when they join, like, don't expect to be going to the CrossFit games within a month. Like, you got to be patient. You got to know your body. You got to, like, learn your body with, if you can be able to move with these movements, scale what you need to. Because I still scale. Even almost after 9 years, I still scale the movement. I scaled today.
Yeah, me too. I was like, it was pistols. I'm like, I don't want to do those. So
I scaled the last run. I was like, I'm just doing 200. So
whatever. Yeah. So, and that's there is some So those are actually all very valid points. One is that you don't need to be fit to start CrossFit. That's what we're here to help you get fit. There is a coach. You don't need to know the movement. So one of the other guys was like super concerned. He's like, I lifted a lot in high school, but I'd never done these, and I felt embarrassed. I'm like, you don't. I mean, the coaches. That's what we're here for. So they will teach you. They will coach you. You don't have to think, oh no, I've got to go so hard, I'm going to throw up in a bucket. We don't want you to do that. So in like most people, if they did Grace, we're going to say, hey, let's do a 45-pound bar and take 10 minutes. That's okay. Yeah. Right? So there are guidelines, like we want to be able to do a workout in a intended stimulus. So we want to lift a heavy weight over our heads in about 5 minutes. Okay, well, what's heavy weight? I mean, it's relative, right? And that 5 minutes of stimulus is going to be different for people. So it's our job as coaches, which you know very well, to see that and help people progress them along. Yeah. Right. So not only have you been an athlete, but you also coach with us. So let's do this. What is something, in coaching other people, has it helped you develop your own ability doing the workouts and stuff? Like, have you learned something about yourself going, oh, when I teach that, I become better too?
Yeah, especially with the lifting, I'm like, I am doing it, and then when I do it, I'm just like, oh wait, let me just go back for a second, let me redo this lift because this is what I talked about. So, and
you can feel it. You're like, oh, I'm bending my arms early. Why am I doing that? I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, and then also I was injured maybe like 2.5 years ago with my sciatica, so I took like a month off from here just. Be like, I don't know.
Do anything,
just do
roll,
something.
Stretch.
And then I was like, I can't do the Globo gym. Still don't know what I'm doing in there. So I came back and I was like, I'm just going to scale what I need to. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, you don't have to RX every workout. Right. You can scale what you need to.
That's right.
Like, that's the big thing because you don't want to get hurt. And I feel like people, when they join, they have to go all out. They have to lift all these weights, and that's where the injury happens. And then that's when they don't want to come back. Right. And they're just like, CrossFit is bad for me. I'm like, it's not bad for you. You just got to know what you're doing.
Right. And you need to have a coaches like us that'll tell you, please don't do that. And then listen. So you said one of our words in here, RXing. What does that mean? So if you're going to RX a workout, what does that entail and what is going on there?
You're doing exactly what the workout is. So say the workout is Grace, 95-pound clean and jerk, you're doing 95-pound clean and jerk. That is the prescribed weight for the workout.
And you do that 30 times.
30 times.
So if you did that, even if it took you 3 hours.
You still get to hit that little RX button.
And so in that example, if you did take you 3 hours, we're not doing this right. So we definitely don't want to do that. So that's a good thing is, I think if you had started in like 2011, 2012, we did not scale very much, and it was, and everybody did this. And looking back, I'm like, I can't believe we did that. Yeah. But it was like, hey, today is running and muscle ups. Can you do a muscle up? No, then you should just leave. Yeah. It wasn't that bad. But I'm like, there's a scale for that. We can totally do so many things.
It's crazy how far along CrossFit has come over the years, especially being here and like, I don't know, it's just like a whole different vibe now. And it's so much more fun and much more relaxed. It's not intense. Like,
And we were a victim of many of the things. So there was a while when it should have, or where people were like, look, we always, always, always need to lift heavy. every time. So that was a guy named John from Brand X who put that out there to the world, and CrossFit ate it up for whatever reason. And then there's the next evolution was everyone's going to the games because of the open and regionals. So we all need to be doing like 6 different workouts inside of that 1 hour. So it was like for a while, it was come in, the whiteboard brief was, hey, we're going to do some stuff I can't really tell you because we need to start moving. The warm-up is part of the workout as well. Then we're going to do this, and then that's A section. And then there's a B section, and there's a C section. And you're like, I don't think I coached a single thing. All I did is manage a class to get through some crap, and everyone is just busted and tired. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so even I was like, I don't even like what we're doing. We need to stop this.
Yeah.
So, and that was a little hard. Well, we had different environment. So yeah, we've come a long way.
Yes.
Or the business, the sport, I don't know, whatever. CrossFit has come a long way to be able to meet the masses where you're at.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just crazy how long I've been here.
Yeah. It's good stuff. You
Through
do
like
really well.
all the things.
Changes. Yeah. That's true. So we've moved. This is our 3rd location. And this front room we're sitting in, if you guys ever come in, or if you're a member, then you know the front room. This was as big as the very first gym we had, and we would have like 10 or 15 people doing like clean and jerks with sit-ups right next to each other. You're like, what are we doing? Yeah. We're definitely going to.
Some of these gyms are just like so small. I'm just like, how do y'all move?
Yeah.
Like where I did my level 1, which was in downtown Atlanta, I like walked in thinking it was going to be like some big old gym, all these things. No, it's just clutter.
Yes.
Almost looks like.
Yeah.
Because you have like the pull-up bars right in the middle with the ring rows.
Right.
And then you have an outdoor area, then you have an upstairs. It's just like, I didn't really know where to lift. And they're like, don't drop the bar, you just got to place it down. I'm like, look, y'all, I'm used to dropping the bar.
Yeah. So I've known a guy that had a 2nd floor CrossFit gym. I'm like, how does that even work? Because we drop everything. So we have rubber weights and rubber floors. So if you guys come in, you drop stuff, that's what we want you to do. If you're a member and you're thinking, oh, I don't have to scale I don't have to go RX. Yeah, hopefully you know that. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
If you're an outsider, someone who's not a member, or you were a member a long time ago, yes, you don't have to be fit to come in. You just come in. You're going to talk to Coach Jamie. She'll take you through a no-sweat intro. We'll talk about your favorite subject, find out where you are and what you want to do. So we have some people who will slant the workouts towards like, hey, I have a Spartan race coming up, so I'm going to do a little bit more cardio. Okay, great. We'll reduce the weights, add some reps. Or on the other side, I want to be bigger. I've never been a big guy. I'd like to be bigger. Okay, we need to up your eating and then do everything a little heavy. That's totally fine. You can do that sort of thing. I think the one thing that we don't do a really good job doing is hypertrophy, which is totally different. So typically when guys would go lift, it was Monday was back and by, Tuesday is test and try, Wednesday was leg day. Of course, we all skipped leg day. And we would do that. So hypertrophy is I do a muscle group and I let it rest for 3 days. And in those 3 days, or 2 days, and in those 2 days of rest, the muscle builds up. And you're eating a lot as well to help facilitate that. So think teenage boy. This is where Levi is. He's like, Dad, I want to be big. I'm like, the genetics I'm giving you.
I don't have to tell you.
I know, are not great. So I don't know how this is going to go. He's actually doing pretty good. So since I told him we need to do a podcast on this, he's been, I think it was like March 1st, he started working on his summer strength program, so his Swole 60. And then, so he's been doing that now. So it's April, or it's August now, so was that 6 months? Something like that?
Something like,
And he's up 30 pounds in body weight.
There you go.
And it shows. So of course it works. This is what we have done, men have done this since the 80s. So, so we don't do that well. But pretty much anything else, if you're looking to be healthy and fit, yes. If you're looking to play softball, yes. If you're looking to, like I do adventure races, and I do not go out and train. It's 12 hours in the woods. We just do this. That'll work. So what is an experience? Tell me something that was fun, that's been a favorite thing in coaching. What has been an interesting thing that you've learned about yourself or just had a fun moment in coaching?
When they get PRs, like when they get a personal record, that's what a PR is. Knowing that I helped them get that, that's like a really good feeling. And the fact that they say thank you and stuff, like, oh, I didn't think, or they're like, oh, I didn't think about that. That really helped. I was like, good, because that's right.
I'm watching you. So I had 2 members in the afternoon class, and we were doing, I think it was power snatches, and both of them were pressing out at the top. They weren't dropping under it. And so I videoed them, and I'm like, you may think that I'm like really, really smart and I can see this. I mean, let me just show you your video and your video. I'm like, look, both of you are doing the exact same thing. It's not that I'm really, really smart at any of this. I've just seen people lift 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm looking at. And you're doing the thing. You just need to drop down. So it may seem like massive amount. We literally get to watch the movements over and over and over. And we can see, all they need to do is drop a little bit. And so they don't see that because they're lifting. Yeah. And you're like, you just punch up, drop down, or whatever it is. And they're like, well, I didn't. Well, of course not. That's my job. I'm supposed to watch these things. So that is pretty cool. Similar to that, I love it when ladies put the bar above their head and finally just drop the bar, right? Yeah. Not on their head, but drop it in front of them to the floor. Yeah. And they're like, that was pretty cool. Like it is, isn't it?
Yeah, you just drop it. They're like, and they just like struggle getting it. I'm like, no, just drop it.
Just let it go.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just don't drop the regular bar. Just let it drop.
That's right. So if you have a bare bar, it'll crush your toe.
Yes.
Yeah. So totally don't do that.
Yeah. No. One of the hardest things about coaching was where to start with them when you're trying to fix, like just figuring out like, all right, where to start, how to fix their
whatever the movement is. Yeah. Like the cue. What cue do I use first?
Yeah. Like that. I think that was one of the toughest things for me. Coaching was just like, where do I start?
Yeah. So what about when you did the level 1 or well, maybe I'll get these level 2s. They are really big into verbal. I can do. Visual, I can do. Touch cue. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I didn't want to touch them. I'm just like, I just tried to just show them. Like, I don't know if this is helping, but I'm just going to show you what you're doing. This is what I want you to do.
So I have a hard time with that. I'm like, let me show you what I think you're doing. I don't know if I can replicate it, but I'm going to try to. Yeah. They're like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, okay, look, let me video you, and then you can see it for yourself. So that I usually use the video as a fallback because it takes so much time to like, you have to stop with everybody else and like, let me video, then go back and show you. So it's a little bit harder to do.
And like they'll do it for a couple of reps and they go right back to what they're doing. I was just like, nah.
So it is fun too to see somebody, see the members as they get tired in a workout. Sometimes the movement gets better because they're like, I have to do it mechanically correct. Because I'm tired. And you're like, yes, look at you. You're doing it exactly right. What am I doing different? Well, you're tired and you're letting your body like a flow, I guess, or whatever. That's always fun to see. Okay, let me ask you some of these questions. What was your very first job you had growing up?
I was a hostess at TGI Fridays.
Ooh, nice. Did you have the birthday song?
No. Nope.
Did you wear the buttons?
Nope. We had to wear a black button up and black slacks, and softball was pretty much my whole life growing up, but having like an actual job, so working at Fridays, I was just like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like I hate my life. Like I don't want to be here. Like I don't like working till 2 a.m. Oh, it's just...
Oh, you got to close down?
Yes, it was awful. I did not like it, but...
It teaches you a lot.
It did teach me a lot. I definitely would not go back. It just gave me a lot more respect for waiters and waitresses and like that type of atmosphere. I definitely have a lot more respect for because people can be very mean when they go out. Yes. And so I definitely have a lot more respect for them.
I think everyone should do a stint in that sort of service.
Oh, 100%.
So they could understand.
Oh, yes. 100% I agree with that because I feel like a lot of the people's true colors do come out when they go out. And I've seen it and I'm just like, I do not deserve this.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't help with that. There's a 30-minute wait. Get here sooner.
Yeah, I'm not in the kitchen cooking. I mean, there's other restaurants. So it doesn't hurt to be kind, but some people just. What is something that your either grandparents or parents taught you that you find super valuable now?
Definitely along the lines of financially.
Ooh, yeah.
Something that my mom tells me all the time. It's like, it's something that you need or it's something that you want. Yeah. And so that's been like embedded in my brain. And a lot of times it does talk me out of getting something that I don't actually need. I just want it. So that's definitely something embedded in my head. And also not to like worry about other people's opinions. Yeah. Especially because you may not ever see them again. Right. So that's another thing.
No, that's a huge thing with me and the kids in high school. They're like, oh, high school, it's like everything. I'm like, in 4 years, you're not going to care.
Exactly.
You just wait a little bit longer. You'll be graduated and no one will ever, but it's so hard to get kids to understand.
Because you want to be in that group, you want to be in that clique.
Yeah, and that's the focus of their life. They don't know any different, right?
Yeah.
Maybe go get that job, and then they'll understand there's other people out there.
And social media does not help the fact anymore. Like, it's gotten... Like, I just remember back in high school, social media was not a thing. It was just slowly getting there.
Right.
Like, we had MySpace and all that stuff. And, like, now I just... Honestly, I don't know if I would be able to survive high school with all the social media and, like, all the things. I just...
No, the problems don't end.
Yeah.
So junk goes down, and then they're on their phones continuing the junk going down. And so, like, one day, I forgot which kid it was, but they got in trouble, so I took their phone. And, like, they were like, you know what, thanks. It was kind of nice not having to look at all that stuff. I'm like, you don't have to look anyway. You could just stop or delete the apps or whatever. They're like, it's really hard to not be in the loop, even when the loop's a bad loop.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's valid.
Yeah, it's crazy how social media has just...
Oh, yeah.
So...
Hopefully we will turn or normalize it a bit or take it away a bit, right?
Yeah.
So I actually, and maybe it's already happening. So when I guess Facebook really wasn't around when we started the gym, but when it eventually came around and you could create a Facebook members only group. So we had like, hey, if you belong to the garage, you could be in that group. We still have it.
Yeah.
But I think there's only like half the members are actually in it because half of them use Facebook.
Yeah.
So other people are like, I have a couple members who don't use, I'm like, I still do emails because some people will never get the communication if they don't.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's like Instagram and I'm like, So it is interesting that it maybe isn't as in our faces as much as it was, but I think as a kid it'd still be really tough.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you, so did your parents teach you anything about Dave Ramsey? You know him? He's the get out of debt guy.
No.
Yeah, he's good stuff. So I don't know, I did a debt podcast, and I don't know when it'll drop compared to this one, but it's on those same lines where you talk about needs and wants. Mm-hmm. And that's huge to figure out in your life. I mean, you literally can buy whatever you want to buy. Well, almost buy whatever you want to buy, right? But if you did that doesn't work for long.
No, it doesn't, because then you are like, oh, wait, I'm in more debt now. And I'm like, that's
and the credit cards don't care. They want you to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that ever since, like, my parents moved to Kentucky, like, I started living on my own, like, that is something that, like, I really had to focus on and, like, really understand, like, I have a mortgage now.
Right.
I have actual bills to pay. Like, I can't just go out and do whatever I want now. Like, I really got to, like, focus in and
you
actually
can, but they'll take your house.
Yeah, I have to actually be an adult.
Right.
So
there's a tool that we've been using for a very long time. It's YNAB. It's You Need a Budget. It's a software, or you don't have to download it. It's just a web page.
Yeah.
Or you can put it on your phone, and you can link it to your bank accounts, and it'll pull all your credit cards, whatever, pull everything together, and you can basically build a budget out of it and account for everything. And I've started turning my kids into, like, you have to do this now.
Yeah.
And it's been eye-opening for them. They're like, dang, I spend a lot on random ass stuff. I'm like, yes.
I mean,
stop.
I still do that, but it's not as bad as it was when I lived with my parents. But it's just
right.
Like,
the mortgage takes a lot of it, and you got to be careful with that guy.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
that's a good one. So, in addition to, like, controlling, well, I mean, you've got a pretty good job, you got your money sorted out, you're doing CrossFit, playing. So actually, that's an interesting one for softball. Is it leagues and seasons, or is it like all the time?
I kind of stopped playing league just because it was like during the week, and it was just like between my job and like wanting to be here. I was just like, I'm not doing league. I'm done.
Yeah.
So now it's more like tournaments on the Saturdays. But I kind of took some time off from playing this year just because I've been playing since I was 8 years old.
You can burn out.
So I was just like, I just don't.
So this question may not apply to you because you got a lot of stuff in order. Some people get into CrossFit and they realize they get something back. So have you seen, like, anytime, like, hey, maybe when you started, because you've been doing this for so long, my peers, when we go to, like, I don't know, walk up Stone Mountain, you're like, yeah, let's grab a bottle of water and go, and you're good to go? Or is there, like, can you see a difference between you and your friends that don't do anything health and fitness wise?
Yeah, a little bit.
Not to throw them under a bus, so no names. Yeah,
I can definitely, like, I'm not saying like I know I'm better in shape with them, and I can actually, like,
keep up and move.
Keep up and keep moving, like, without having to stop.
I think sometimes we look at things like, or some people can look at CrossFit and say, okay, well, if you're going to the CrossFit games, you're doing CrossFit, or you play a sport. I mean, you literally do play a sport. You're using CrossFit, but it doesn't have to be that, right? It can be as simple as what did Kelly Teresi said. I went to pick up a bag of mulch that I used to be able to pick up, and I could not pick it up. She's like, I need to go do something. And she's like, oh yeah, I remember, I really liked CrossFit, right?
Yeah.
So she comes back to do that, right? Or a good one for me was my buddy, he's like, you want to go up, climb Blood Mountain? I'm like, it sounds scary. Let's do it, right?
Yeah.
And so we both went up, and he does a lot of more endurance-y stuff, and I do not. And so it was fun to see that, I mean, this works. Yeah, I was probably a little bit more winded here and there because it was like, I don't know, an hour and a half up a mountain.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I could do it.
Yeah, I do apply CrossFit to my job because I do have to pick up animals. I do have to hold them down. So doing CrossFit and working with animals, like it's a very good combination.
That is.
It's funny because one of my doctors that I work with, Dr. Bloomer, she does CrossFit over in Alpharetta, and her husband is actually one of the camera guys for the CrossFit Games.
Get out of here.
So she's all about it and everything. So anytime like the other technicians need help with a big dog, they always call her and I over to help. It's just like...
That's awesome.
So
there's an interesting thing that can fit in the workplace. You didn't even really think about it. So I do find times, so I've got that little tiny farm, and weirdly, even if it's a tiny farm, stuff needs to be lifted all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can actually...
Yeah, that's how anytime I go to Kentucky, that's how my parents are. They're like, we need you and my little brother to do all this stuff. I'm just like, I really don't want to.
We saved it all for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's good stuff. I love that. So so you can find a place and bring things back in there. Inside your journey of CrossFit, whether it's athlete or coach or whatever, is there any high, lows, and buffaloes that stick out? Though high, obviously good. Lows, like and then buffalo. Anything surprising or unusual or interesting that stick out in your mind? And it doesn't have to be the highest high. It could be anything really, but something that you enjoy or find fun with this.
College, when I was benching, my bench was like maybe 75, 85 pounds. And
Sounds like mine.
Then coming here, I was just like, my bench now is like 125. Oh, wow. So I was very surprised at that because I have like no upper body strength. A lot of people are like, how do you not have any upper body strength? You lift so much. I'm like, yeah, half the time you have to use your legs for it.
That's it.
And I'm like, the strict press, like that's my lowest like weightlifting. Like it's hard for me to even do like 95. I'm
with you.
But
so I've been doing this for 15 years. I started with my PR, my personal record for the strict press when I started was 125. I think now, 15 years later, it's like 137.
Yeah.
It's like moved just barely. Where like my deadlift went from 200 to 400, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, that's huge. And I get the one. Yeah. I'm with you. I do not have very much upper body strength. So that is good. That's a huge bench press.
That's a big one for me. Another one was when I got my PR on my deadlift at 320. Never in my life thought I would be able to deadlift 320 pounds.
That is huge.
I don't even know like what my deadlift was like in the very beginning. Like it's fun to look at Wodify for sure because I can go back to where I started to where I am now, and like all the like little arrows are like all over the place.
Yeah.
It's fun to see like, oh, my back squat was like, my heaviest was like 105 and now it's like close to 300, and it's just like, even after 9 years, like it takes time to build up that weight. Like you're not gonna get that weight in a year. Like it takes time.
Right. No, that is awesome. So we use a tool in here, Wodify, that tracks. Well, I use it as a back-end tool for business, but it also tracks all of our workouts and stuff. And so if you log it, which some people don't log anything still, like log something because you're gonna love it. If you stay for 9 years and you could see the first workouts you did, it's so interesting to see where you were.
Like where I started is just crazy. It's just.
And so some people are like, well, I don't want to see that because I'm embarrassed. Like, don't be embarrassed.
No,
we all started there. You want to log it. You want to see it. So we had a workout that just came back up, Jerry. So it's run a mile, row 2K, run a mile. And we had done it in 2017. Oh,
gosh. That was like 2 years of me doing CrossFit.
Yeah. And so I'm like, 2017, I probably have a time in there because I pretty much show up all the time. And I did. And I was like, okay, it was like, I think it was like 21:32, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, 21:32. That sounds pretty impressive. I don't know if I can do that again. And I think I got like 22:07. So it's only, this is it's 2017, so it's 6 years later. and I'm only 30 seconds slower, that says a lot for what we're doing here, right?
Yeah.
So your bench press goes up, your grace time goes down. I'm only 30 seconds behind in a 20-minute workout.
Yeah.
From 6 years ago, I'm like,
yeah, and
this is huge.
Yeah, it's fun to look back, and I'm just like, some of the workouts that I do, I'm just like, what was I on? Like, some of the times I'm just like, I don't know if I can beat that, but then I do, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I'm like right there.
And so that is interesting too. There are some workouts that I'm like, I don't know if I could ever beat that number, or maybe like I must have counted by twos because I'm so far off that pace. So there is a possibility that I legitimately put in the time wrong. I like looked at someone else's time.
Yeah, no.
And typed it in. Yeah. But when you have the graphs, so like we'll do back squat a lot, and the back squat numbers, if you log it, it'll show up in Wodify as trend over time, and we'll do a line graph with it. So you'll get to see where you were. You can even see the spreadsheet of it. But you can actually, so members, if you're listening, you can go into the Wodify app and click on My PRs, and it'll actually show you like year to date, everything you've hit so far. So I think that's pretty cool too, to think that I'm the oldest I have ever been. And, you know, everybody, every day is the oldest they've ever been and when they come in that day.
Yeah.
And we're able to do something better or more than we did before.
Yeah, it's fun to, it's fun to look back and just see where I started. Like, I think my like, I don't know, just fun to just see where I started. Because I'm just like, now I'm just like, oh, that's lightweight for me now. I'm just like, it's really not, but it is. But I don't know, because I can just remember like just starting, and I was just like, honestly, I don't even know how I learned the clean. I don't know how I learned the snatch. Like, it's just, I don't know if it just came so easy to me, or because I was already an athlete and I already have like the kind of like coordination. But
so I think in those two movements, there's a magic for athletes. So I have good kinesthetic awareness, so I know where my body is in space, right? Or proprioception, I think that's what it is. And the other is, I think there's an advantage to being a little weaker in the arms compared to like most guys. If I was to be next to most guys, they're going to be like, yeah, Andy, you're weaker in the arms. That's just, I'm like, yeah, no, that's how I am. But so if we are weaker, then when you do these Olympic lifts, it's mostly done in your legs.
Yeah.
If you do it right.
Yeah.
And so you end up lifting more because you're using your core and your legs more than your just arms to press out, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, huh, I actually did that pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just when I first started, like, I don't know. I know we had like the Olympic lifting in the corner,
right?
And members could go and do like an hour with Coach Ashe, and I feel like I did like 2 sessions there, and then all of a sudden I'm like doing these lifts. I'm just like, and I try to think
for you maybe,
and I'm just like thinking about like what we do now and how we teach the movements and everything, and how much more in depth and like detail we are with it. I'm like, I don't think we ever did that.
No. That's what I was just trying to explain. Is something that oh man, who was it? So in 2008, the warm up was the same every day. Yeah. No matter what movements we were doing,
it's like a 400-meter run.
That's it. 400-meter run, 10 wall balls, 10 squats, 10 push-ups, 10 pull-ups, 3 times.
Yeah.
And so the joke was my warm-up is more than your workout. And that's where that came from, because everyone pretty much did the CrossFit warm-up.
Yeah.
And then you would do whatever. And so like, well, we did, I mean, I don't know, it was just in its infancies, but yeah, we didn't warm up correctly. Yeah. And then even in the teaching, it was...
show, and then you do it.
Yeah, it was show more than anything else. And it wasn't, I don't know. Yes, we definitely take a whole lot more. So anybody that's either tried CrossFit in the past or wondering, there is a lot of coaching that goes on here. I tell people all the time, don't come here if you're not interested in coaching, mentoring, or accountability.
Yeah.
We want to help you. If you don't want to be helped, you don't want to be here.
Yeah.
That's different, right?
Yeah.
We also, we actively engage and look for people, like we have posted on the wall, we're happy, humble, helpful people who want to be healthy and fit now, as well as in our 90s. So I like this, like, helpful. There's nothing better to me when I see a member, like almost every one of our coaches, actually every one of our coaches was a member first, and they're like, I really like this stuff. I'd like to be more helpful.
Yeah.
I would like to be a coach. All right, let's start down that path, which is exactly what you did. So it's interesting to see people grow into it, and these personalities and this like just like gym culture come out of it. But anyway, okay, so let's do this one. What so we used to have that billboard there. You would probably remember that. No, maybe? Yeah. So we had that billboard. It had an arrow, CrossFit Garage right here. I think 3 people saw it, and it was up for like 6 months. So really bad use of money. But if you could put a message up to people on 92 on that billboard over there, what message would you say to the world? It doesn't have to be health and fitness. It can be anything like, San Dimas high school football rules or cats are great or whatever.
Oh, gosh.
It could be don't buy stupid crap. No.
I mean, too bad you can't edit this one, but I'd be like, don't go woke.
No, that's fine. So there's something to that. We're in Woodstock, and there's a lot less of that, like, stuff. Even COVID was kind of like not really.
Yeah.
I mean, there was people doing, but
it's crazy that we stayed open through all of COVID. Like nothing, like a lot.
We had to shut down for a month legally. They were like we had a neighbor call the police on us because we were still open. Yeah, I'm not going to mention who. And I actually was reading through all of the governor's edicts because I'm like, well, I need to know this stuff, right? And so if you actually read what they said on the news and what they said in the actual what do they call, not edict? What are they? The thing, whatever they were passing, their bylaws, their laws, whatever, right? Emergency, whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same. And so you read it and you're like, oh, what it's saying is hey, people have to be 6 feet apart or there has to be a lot of airflow or whatever. I'm like, well, we're in a gym and everybody has more than 6 feet and the doors go up.
Open. And now we have even more airflow with the fan.
Right. So I'm like, oh, we do not have to, right?
Yeah.
And so, so somebody's like, we had, at the time, actually Jerry's back. So Jerry Carroll, his brother, Officer Carroll or Detective Carroll calls up. And he says, hey, this is Detective Carroll. I'm like, uh-oh. And I'm like, wait, Carroll, do you happen to know Jerry? He's like, I do. He's my brother. I'm like, oh, he's a member here. He's like, yes, I know exactly what you're doing. I have to call because you had someone turn you in. I'm like, what is up with the world when they turn you in? And so we talked about the rules, and he's like, yes, that's actually exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're good to go. I'm like, huh. So, yes, I agree. It's like my kids even it's funny, they push back on a lot of that stuff now. But I have a 30-year-old sister, and so it's interesting to see her viewpoints in the world versus mine.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean or rude. I'm just from the 80s.
Yeah.
And we said just different stuff.
Yeah, and the things today, I'm just like, none of this makes sense.
No, there's a lot of weirdness, but I mean, I love people for where they are.
Yeah.
And if they got a thing, I'm happy for them to be a thing.
Yeah, just don't shove it in my face.
That's true. And I think that's a fair point, too. Like, the other day we were talking, me and Tom, and so he is very big into the church. I'm like, I love that, too.
Yeah.
But in addition, hey, I don't shove that in people's faces. I mean,
I think there's a bunch of people that go to the same church. I think it's Jubilee.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And they're all great. Everyone,
awesome people.
Yeah.
And they're not so I think in anything, I think what it really tells us is, hey, people are different. And respect that.
Yeah.
And be kind, like you're a waiter or waitress or whatever.
Yeah, because you never know what they're going through, and they might be having a bad day, and then you just yell at them, and you just made it worse.
So
and it's just
I had that happen where I was driving, and I was pissed that somebody was cutting me off, and then they turned into the hospital. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it legit happened that I was honking at somebody and telling them they're number one, and they turned into the hospital. I'm like, I am that guy. Yeah. So I did that on the soccer field, too. You were talking about parents being jerks. I was the guy, and I am shameful of it. But I tell everyone because you can change. But I was the dad that yelled at refs. I yelled at the coaches. I yelled at my kid. I yelled at other people's kid.
Oh, wow.
And so finally one of the dads scooted away from me. And I'm like, oh, man, am I that dad? And he's like, you are.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, thank you for telling me. I don't hate you. Thank you. From now on, I will change. Just hit me if I do anything.
Yeah.
And it was like, you could turn it off. Once you realized it was you, you could turn it off. Man, I was such... Yeah. If I could, I'd go back and find all those refs and apologize, but they're kids and I don't know who they are. Yeah. But they are somebody's kid and I yelled at them.
It happens. You just get so into the moment. And
be better.
And you're just you click out of it. It's like, oh, I've never done that.
Yes.
That happens to me often. I'm just like, oh.
So Jamie's kid is an umpire and she's like, man, they get on umpires like crazy.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Like,
He's like,
I went
he's
to
only 15 or 16, whatever he is. I don't know.
my best friend. She has a kid that plays baseball, and I've been to a few of his games. But these parents just go after these umpires. I'm like, y'all, they're just doing their job.
They're just doing their job. Just relax,
Like,
take a deep breath.
Like, I'm just like, oh my God. It's,
Okay, so next thing is there any podcasts that you like or listen to, or any books that you like or recommend out?
Not very many podcasts. I mean, if I were to listen to anything, it's more like true crime stuff.
Lots of people say true crime.
So that's like a big thing that I like to listen to.
Do you ever watch, I think Dateline was the original, like, doing those, like, this is what happened, and they talk about...
No, some of the documentaries that I do, like, watch on Netflix is, like...
Those true crimes, yeah.
True crime stuff.
Well, I know after my wife has watched all of these shows, I know that if she buys green Gatorade, then I need to stop drinking it because the antifreeze is coming. So there's always like...
Oh, gosh, that's funny.
It's always how they get
But
the
yeah,
guys.
true crime's a big thing, like those kind of documentaries. Certain, like, there's this one, it's like a cult from out of, like, Utah, Sweet Prey. I don't know, it's just something
What's the name of it? I'll put it in the show notes.
It's like it's like Pray, Obey, or something. I don't know. It's on Netflix. It's about a cult. It's about Mormons.
Okay, yeah.
It's just... Those kind of things just very interest me. I don't know why, but it's just like interesting how like some people live and how they still live today.
Well, the Amish are moving from Pennsylvania to Kentucky, so there should be...
there's a big Amish town that I drive by when I go to my parents' house. And
buy some things and bring in here. You can upsell it because everyone loves their stuff.
Yeah, there's like a Mennonite store where like they take all the stuff that like fell off like a truck or something, and they discount it too, and it's just like you have expired stuff. It's just crazy. I just remember I was going into the Mennonite store, and like here comes a car full of Amish people, and oh my God, it was just so funny. It's funny because my boyfriend, he is like a big sponsor for one of the big major conference teams, and in the conference there's this Amish team.
Interesting, yeah.
And they had like their Amish like people with them and stuff, and it was just like I could hear them talking, and it's just like I don't know what they were saying. It was just fun to watch.
Different dialects, different words.
Yeah.
So I knew there was something too, man. It might be I'm going to confuse the Amish and Mennonite, and then there's another group of them, but like some of them can't play sports, or you can play a sport but you can't keep score or something. There's like so many interesting things. I'm like, those things are fascinating to me, and that culture has persisted for so long. I'm like, that is really cool.
What's crazy about this Amish team is that they start playing at a very young age, like late teens, and they can only play to a certain age for slow pitch. After that certain age, they have to go and do the adult duties and everything. So
it's a very young team then.
Yeah, it's a very young team. There's some older guys on there that aren't Amish, but it's just...
Something else that's fascinating about that whole culture, I know this is not a show about Amish, but it is fascinating to me, their whole thing. I think they get up to like an 8th grade education, yet like the per capita for Amish, like the money they have is way disproportionately wealth than it is the rest of the world or rest of the U.S. Who gets more than 8th grade education. So I'm like, interesting, we don't need to know all this stuff. You just need to do what your mom or your parents told you, which is don't buy stuff you don't want. Only get the needs, right?
Yep.
I'm like, this is so fascinating the way they do things, and it still works for them. Not that I would like to go without electricity. I sort of do like my internet.
Yeah, it's a different world for them.
So any books?
Books, not really. Haven't really been into like reading a whole lot lately.
So I use Audible because I don't like to read, and so you can download a book and they'll read it to you. And if you buy like a fun book, like like murder mystery or whatever, the narrator does voices, and that's really fun. If you buy like Atomic Habits, then it's just some guy reading it. But now they do inflections, and so it's interesting, like more like storytelling. But it's just one voice. But I get through a lot of books that way. If it was up to reading, like with my eyes, I would be.
I feel like I would just fall asleep during Audible because. I
usually only do when I'm doing chores. So if I'm driving, I'm listening to something.
Yeah.
If I finally broke down and bought some noise canceling ear, not the pods, but the whole cup over your ear, so that I could do like vacuuming and I could maybe even weed whack or whatever. So I could, because if I'm doing a chore, I want to listen to something so I can double up on time.
Yeah.
But well, that's very cool. So, any last message you'd say to anybody in the world, or not world, people in Woodstock? So, I am a lady looking to try CrossFit. I'm a little nervous because I'm not fit enough yet. What do you tell them?
I tell them to do it.
Yeah.
They're not going to regret it. You just got to be patient with it. It's a lot of fun. It's a great atmosphere. It's not as scary as it looks. There's a lot of gyms out there that may look scary, but a lot of gyms like our gym, we just want to make everyone better. Everyone's so nice here. Like it's crazy how everyone's so nice. Like everyone's just always together.
We put that slogan up, happy, humble, helpful people.
Yeah.
And it's taken about 5 years to really get it, like that, build that culture up.
Yeah.
But so in what you're saying, we have a tagline for one of our mission or vision is we want to help you become the hero of your own story.
Yeah. I tell them don't be scared to join. Like just don't. Like it's going to take time. You know, especially like the older folks. I'm like, there's people.
She's talking about me.
I'm like, there's people older than me that still do this. Like, it's not.
I'm 50 and I'm still doing it.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a lot of fun, especially once everything starts clicking.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. I feel like they all like want to like just start right away. Like I want to do this. I'm like, one step at a time.
Right. And what would you say about the community? So
the community is great. Like everyone's so friendly. Everyone's so like encouraging, helpful. Like
which is way different than if you went to a Globo gym.
Because everyone's staring at you with their mirrors and their camera phones, doing TikToks and everything, and it's just like, and you feel so like uncomfortable, judged, uncomfortable. Like here, you just walk in, there's no mirrors. Like you just
and everyone does talk to each other, but it's expected.
Yeah,
and it's not.
And
weird.
like everyone like just encourage. Like the big thing is just like it's a big family, and everyone encourages you. Everyone always talks about the CrossFit cult. I'm like, yeah, but
it's an easy one.
It's just you feel a lot comfortable here, especially meeting strangers that you don't know, and everyone started somewhere.
I think that's the point that I would maybe put on that sign up there is everyone starts somewhere, and it's usually that same sort of position. Like you think, like they walk in and they see you lift. Well, she's been doing that forever. Like no, it took me 9 years to get to where she's at. Right.
And I think a lot of people have asked me. They're like, oh, or they asked me, but they're like, oh, you lift so heavy. I'm like, this does not happen overnight. This has taken some time.
That's right.
Like, and I tell them, like, I still struggle. Like, I still scale things, and it's fine. It is okay to scale.
We both scaled today. Whatever. All right, guys, this has been great. Here at CrossFit Garage, you can find us on any of the socials, our websites, CrossFitGarage.com. I know that's unusual. You can email me, Andy at CrossFitGarage.com. We're here to help. If you're interested in getting some stuff for your home, so if you want to do like your own home workouts, if you get on our website and do the hey, contact me type thing, in the first email you'll get from us has a link to things you can do at home. So don't be nervous. This is easy. It just has to do one day at a time and have patience.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Gabby. It's been fun.
Yes. Thank you.